One of the crazy things, if you start learning LaTeX, you can, if you're really a control freak, you can actually make LaTeX typeset things to within a millionth of an inch. That's pretty slick. One of the things about LaTeX that makes it really fascinating, this particular document doesn't show it, but LaTeX doesn't do absolutes. So when you type in your document, it actually uses a fairly sophisticated algorithm to determine whether or not to hyphenate, how to justify your text, and make it look good. One of the things it's going to do is it's going to have some rules. There are some stiff penalties for having what's called an orphan. Anybody know what an orphan is when you're typesetting stuff?
It's one word on another line or on another page.
Yeah, like
by itself.
Having one word at the end of a paragraph on its own line. Typesetters, human typesetters would never do that. You would kind of collapse the spacing of that paragraph to fit it on there, or expand the spacing of the paragraph so you'd have that line at least halfway filled. Or having one line of one paragraph on one side of a page break. No one would ever do that. Look at a real book sometime, not something from Word, because Word does a terrible job of this. But look at a real book that's been like actually published by somebody, and look to see if you ever see any orphans. I mean, that's not an easy thing to do. Humans had to struggle for that for a long time. And one of the things that this guy, Donald Knuth, did when he invented like half of computer science and physical attack, is he came up with an algorithm to penalize things like hyphenations. You'll never see LaTeX put two lines hyphenated together back to back, because it's not very appealing to the eye, unless it makes the rest of the page superior. So there's all this complex scoring and optimizations that are going on to make every single page look right and avoid having any kind of penalties. You can sit back and let LaTeX do its thing, or you can force it to do things. So for example, LaTeX will try to make your floating tables float into a table page. So for instance, if I have a whole load of data, like when I'm typing in a report and I want to send it off someplace, I might have 3 or 4 data tables back to back to back with a small amount of text in between. And if you do that in Word, you'll see, small tables, blah, 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 blah. What LaTeX is going to do is it's going to say, well, normally each of these would end up being on their own page, but that's really hard to read. But because they're so close together, we'll float them into one page in between the analysis. And so you'll have your description, you'll have a page of tables, and then your description. Unless you're using a book format, and then they'll always be on the left-hand side or the right-hand side. They're always on one of the side or the other. So your tables never show up like in the middle of a page and get to flip. So your data and your table and your text are always describing it on the same side. I mean, there's all these kind of crazy rules that LaTeX does to make your stuff look professional. So for a little bit of learning, and it's not that hard to learn. I mean, once you've got this kind of basics down, you can start off with LYX, but obviously you're getting with your mileage, your mileage may vary. So I mean, really, this isn't that bad. I mean, it's no worse than programming for sure. So I reran it this time. Instead of being an article, I typeset it as a book. Multiple pages. Not on enough pages. But it's smart enough that when you say typeset as a book, it's going to do book margins. And so the inner margins are set so you can bind the book together. The page numbers change so that they're on the outside and the inside of the book. You can turn on headings if you do the book titles on one side and the chapter titles on the other side and the book pages. It does all that for you. on this book a long time ago, The Guide to LaTeX. It's what's on the cover of what I handed you guys. It says it was $49 when it was new, but that was a number of years ago. You probably pick it up on Amazon for 15, 20 bucks. It's not a bad book. It's a great way to get to learn tech. But of course, the internet now has a lot more stuff on it than it ever did. So if you do a search like tutorial on LaTeX, you'll find thousands of them. This short guide for math in LaTeX is really nice. I've had this around for a long time. It's actually from the American Mathematical Society. And it literally tells you how to do everything you would ever want to be able to do to typeset anything ever devised in mathematics in LaTeX. It has all the symbols that you could ever think that ever existed in LaTeX. In fact, I would say I'd be frightened to see math text that had some of these symbols in it. I mean, seriously. But here's all your calculus, your trig, vectors, everything. When you're doing set theory, all the set theory symbols are here, all the different kinds of math are here, all the different decorations are here. But they tell you how to do it all. So this is the short guide, short math guide for LaTeX. If you've ever seen the book, the Big White Book of Algorithms, these guys use LaTeX to typeset their book, so a 900-page algorithms textbook. And, oh wow, he just updated this not too long ago. And these guys have devised a way of typesetting pseudocode that has become the standard way to typeset pseudocode. If you want to have people take you seriously and you're going to do any kind of graduate work, this is the way that you typeset code in a paper. And they don't actually show any examples of a typeset, but they show you how to typeset your code, and it looks fantastic. And it's clear as day when you're reading things. And when you're used to reading the standard format for communicating code between colleagues, this is such a nice thing to see in a paper. And this is the CLRS, Corman, Leeserson, Reves, Shamir code. This is from their algorithms textbook. Very famous textbook in computer science. And here's their how-to and their code to use their method for doing it. So those are kind of the two really awesome things that you can get out there. So I always find the list of packages because you can type in typeset Klingon, and there aren't many ways of typesetting Klingon in professional publications. LaTeX is the one way. This is the list of the well-known packages that are out there that you can use in your program. So for instance, if you find yourself needing to typeset something in Armenian, there is a LaTeX app for that. There is one for the various versions of Klingon. Apparently there are more than one. There used to be one for Dorvish and Elvish, but I think the fascination with Tolkien has gone away. And I don't see it showing up anymore. But there are a lot of different packages out there for doing all kinds of different things. That make life much easier with LaTeX. One of the things I like to do is there's this utility called TechPoint for Mac, or for Windows, and LaTeX for Mac. You can download these things and you can type in in your PowerPoint slide a LaTeX math equation and hit typeset, and it will replace your typing with a JPEG or PNG of your typeset equation. And so when I'm making lecture slides and I need to just rapidly typeset what I'm doing, I can use these two utilities and kind of make my slide look decent. They're both really nice. I'm not sure, this used to be free, I see buy now. Maybe a buy kind of thing. $30 isn't too bad. Yeah, the cost of a cheap book. But there may be free ones out there. Any questions?
Yeah. How did you get into how you use LX, LYX?
For the graphical version?
Yeah.
LY.
And you, whenever you use stuff that look like highlighted HTML tags.
Yeah.
Does that happen in all the editors or just?
No, just LYX. Yeah, I would, for just learning, LYX is probably not a bad thing, but I'd very quickly switch over to a text editor. If you have Mac, TextMate is really a nice tool. Not only does it do LaTeX, but it does pretty much everything else ever made. And it'll do things for you. So, like, you can right-click and insert a list, or oh, I didn't show you lists. So this is really neat. One other thing I like about using TextMate, I don't see Emacs doing it, is TextMate on the Mac, spell check as you go. I kind of need that. But if you want to put a list in, just drop a list in. And you see the spacing has changed because I'm using a book. Books, because they can be longer, it double spaced my list. If I was doing an IEEE journal article, my list would be single spaced and compressed. So I know you guys are in senior research and review, and you have to do your stuff in two-column format. You can type it in a single column, do all your edits, one word, two column. It puts everything into two columns, and look what happened, the table moved position. Remember, the table was last, but it moved to the top of a column because that's where figures should be. So, it's good stuff. Anything else? All right. Knock yourselves out. Like I said, you can download LaTeX for anything. It's free. It doesn't cost anything at all. It's been out there forever. There's a lot of ways to get support for it. And sometimes you might not have much to say, but if you can say it well, people